I want to talk about supplements. And again, something that you inspired me with was the talk about creatine. And I started taking creatine, but I got, not saying this is not right, but someone was like, oh, take 2 teaspoons. So I was taking 2 teaspoons, which was about 10 grams. I have never felt so ill in my life where the nausea was beyond. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. And for 3 days straight, I took it. Felt like I was going to vomit for about 3 hours of each of those days till it really, I was like, it must be the creatine. And then I was scared to take it for a couple of weeks. But then I just, again, heard you say 5 grams or less. So I think I take, 4 to 5 grams now, completely fine. So talk to us about why I would have had that effect and what the right dose is, why creatine is good for you.
Yeah, so creatine is used in all the fast energetics of our body. So if we're thinking about the initial ATP, CP, which is your first 0 to 20 seconds of energy, the C of the CP is creatine. So it's creatine phosphate. So if we are taking in creatine monohydrate, then we have a greater availability of that creatine to be there for our fast energetics. So if we're thinking about all of the things that we do in a day, we are using so much creatine in all the processes. If we're looking even at brain function, gut function, heart health, all of that requires creatine. So if we are ingesting more creatine, then we have more available. Our liver does produce between 2 and 3 grams a day, but we see that by the nature of being women and having less muscle mass, we have less stores than men. And women tend to not eat as much animal protein as men do. So that's another caveat there where we're not ingesting as much as men. So if we're supplementing with it, it takes about 3 weeks to fully saturate all the tissues in the body. So if we're starting at a lower dose of 1.5 to 5 grams, over the course of 3 weeks, you'll get a muscle boost, a brain boost. People who have gut issues, that's going to start to dissipate.
Wow.
And we see more people have talked about getting better focus, and it has to do with better brain metabolism as well. And there is a website now, Creatine for Health, that's publishing all the more health-oriented creatine research that's out there, from pregnancy to mental health. We see there's a new study that just came out where 2 5-gram doses a day, morning and evening, help people who have really severe fatigue from low sleep, and people who have depressive episodes where their actual pharmaceutical isn't working as well. They can top it up with
Wow.
creatine, and it helps get them out of depressive episodes. So it is something that has been kind of pushed into the bodybuilding set for so long, but we see that it's so essential for so many different other conditions than just building muscle and having muscle function.
So it's an illusion that people should only take creatine if they're working out or on days that they're working out.
Exactly. And part of it also is the fear factor of how much you have to take. Because if we look at a typical bodybuilding for muscle function type protocol, which is where it all started, we're looking at 20 grams a day in 5-gram doses with carbohydrate. And when we're looking at that, that's when you get the bloating, the discomfort. You really start to put on weight from water retention. And we're like, wait, no, that's when we're looking at really swole and getting really fantastic muscle performance. And that's a subset. What we want is for health. We want brain function. We want gut function. We want to be able to have better muscle function as well, but we don't have to go the high doses. We know that a very small amount is very beneficial, especially for women.
So would you say between 3 and 5 grams for women?
Yeah, yeah. I tell women they should start with maybe 1.5 if they're afraid of supplementing, because some
Yeah.
women don't supplement and they're not sure how they're going to react. So if we go 1.5 grams for 1 week, then work up to 3 grams the next week, and then on the third week you're starting to get that 5-gram dose in, then you're slowly accumulating and saturating the body, but you're not overwhelming any one particular system.
Not like what
You
I
won't
did.
feel
Don't do
nauseous.
what I did. Don't
Don't
start
feel
off doing 10
nauseous.
grams.